This is such an incredibly difficult topic to discuss, but yet I see it on the boards so many times and identify it with it so well. And that is when we lose contact for one reason or another, and we'll talk about that, with a sibling. And that sibling can be a brother or a sister, a cousin, because of the triangulation that the narcissist has created between the siblings. The narcissist, please don't forget, is so skilled at doing this. So many times, you'll find in the beginning that the sibling is kind of cold, not very close, being distant, being sarcastic, lack of empathy, lack of concern. And many times, more than not, this will lead to a separation between you and the sibling. And please remember this. Triangulation, this is done for the supply for the narcissist. I've said this a million times. Everything in regards to narcissism is about their supply. So they're going to wreak this havoc between siblings and sit back and watch an enjoyment of the damage they've inflicted. Most times, this damage is so deep, it creates a tremendous amount of hatred between the siblings. Specifically, if you're the scapegoat, if you're the one that the lies are being laid upon, you're sitting back at the early stages of this and going, what the hell's going on? And you'll notice this comes about in stages. In the early stages, you're going to notice from your sibling a coldness. And that leads into sarcasm, lack of empathy, slight digs, turning into deeper digs. But most of the time, your sibling will not flat out say, hey, look, this is what I was told. We need to talk about this. The narcissist's work is so deep and so sharp that the sibling cannot even speak about what they're upset about. More times than not, this will create no contact between you and your sibling. And remember, again, the narcissist is kicking back and enjoying, literally enjoying, this huge amount of free supply that they think they've earned. And when you become aware of this, when you start to realize what's going on, you desperately want to speak or show that sibling, look, here is our problems. Let's talk about this. Ask me any question you want, and I'll answer it. But the narcissist has done their job so well that you can't even get to that point. And so often, that sibling becomes a narcissist. And let me tell you, in all honesty, if and when that happens, you have got to cut contact. Because no matter how hard you try to explain, once you figured it out, what's really going on, that sibling, it's done. The feelings and the deep, deep hatred are so deep, it's almost impossible to penetrate. So here we are again, left with this anger because we now know where it came from. And we can't do anything about it. So often, I'm asked the question, should I try to educate my sibling about narcissism? Well, it's only a question you can answer. I can tell you or prepare you for what you very well may expect. Silence. You need to be mentally prepared for that. And this is so difficult because here's someone that you loved and that you believed loved you unconditionally. But they very well may be lost. At least for now. And if we stay in the mode that we feel we have to educate that sibling, that we have to point out where the problem lies, the more we lie in this cycle of narcissistic abuse, and that's what it is. And the more we fail at becoming closer to that sibling. It's almost impossible. The narcissist has done their job so well and cut so deep. And we're left wondering, why me and why won't my sibling at least speak to me? Remember, again, the narcissist has their job, and that is to create horrific animosity between you and your sibling. They need to separate everybody so they are not communicating with one another, so they cannot compare stories and then come to the conclusion that that's why. The narcissist knows that, and they will go to any lengths. They will tell any lie. They will fabricate any story, and they will do it with an intelligence to keep you and your sibling apart. Again, more times than not, that sibling can and often does become a narcissist. And anything that you try to do to correct that or to educate them won't work. So when that happens, you have to come to acceptance of that. You have to get out of that cycle. And you have to turn that energy from trying to inform the sibling, or trying to educate the sibling, or trying to communicate with the sibling when it's almost impossible. You got to turn that energy back into yourself and take care of yourself. Because if we use the energy to try to educate a sibling, we are feeding the narcissist their supply. We are using all of that energy and not focusing on getting better or healthier ourselves. And we can easily, trust me, we can easily be caught up in that cycle. So coming to that acceptance is incredibly difficult. I understand. It's incredibly powerful, because then you could start focusing on your own mental health. And in most cases, nothing that you can do nor say is going to convince the sibling otherwise. Because the narcissist doesn't do this in just one clean swipe. They're training. They're grooming your sibling. Little by little, creating that hatred, boom. So, coming to that acceptance is incredibly important. I hope this has helped. If this has happened to you, and it's happened to so many of us, I'm sorry. Truly, I'm sorry. I wish you peace. I want you to have peace. Thank you. Good night.